G'day and welcome to Aussievision. My name's Liv and I'm joined here by the lovely Emma, and we're here to talk about Austria's entry this year, Who the Hell is Edgar, at Eurovision 2023. We're going to be talking about both the televote appeal of it and also the jury appeal and how we think it might do in those two separate categories, whether it will qualify for the final, and then if it's in the final, how we think it might go. Where we've got these numbers from is we went to the Aussievision contributors. They've ranked every song out of 10 in terms of televote appeal and jury appeal. We've averaged it out, ranked everything from 1st to 37th to get a little idea of where we think everything is sitting this year. Okay, so the Aussievision team has ranked Who the Hell is Edgar out of 10 in terms of televote appeal, and we have given it a whopping 9 out of 10, which places it first in semi-final 2 when you put them relative against how we ranked everything else. Emma, does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't actually. This, on paper, this would be the song that I would be predicting to take out semi-final 2, which is arguably the weaker of the two semi-finals. So that doesn't surprise me at all that the Aussievision team have placed this in first place for semi-final 2.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me at all either. It's definitely the type of people who watch a semi-final are a little bit different to the audience that watches a grand final. So I think this is probably the type of crowd that would really get behind the message and really propel it and be in the right crowd to potentially win the televote of this semi. So that does not surprise me at all. Potentially, if you take it out to all songs this year, we have actually ranked them 3rd out of 37. So we have them very high in terms of all songs at Eurovision this year as well. It's infectious. You know, you can't help but love it. There is just something really easily digestible about it, but really clever as well.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot for everyone in this song. You've got the catchy sort of hook that you can learn the lyrics very easily to this song after a couple of listens, particularly the chorus. You've got the viral dance moves happening. There's just, there's the operatic parts. It shows off their voices. There's really a lot to love about this performance, and I actually don't think I've come across anybody who doesn't like it. So, and particularly for like you mentioned with the semi-finals, where you have more pure fans of the contest watching, I think this is going to, have a lot of appeal, and, everyone's jumping on board with this song already before the competition, so it seems. So I don't think there'll be any problem with it qualifying.
Yeah, I think it will. There are layers of staging here. I think even if they did the most boring staging ever, this would probably make it to the final anyway. If they did their little dance moves in the music video and kind of just kept it at that, I still see this doing very well with the televote. If they can somehow manage to weave the message in quite nicely as well as keep all the fun, this could be an absolute cracker in the televote. Like, very excited. And I wouldn't doubt the public actually being clever enough to cotton onto it. Look at Incorpora Sano last year with Serbia. The message, complicated to get across. We're all a little bit worried if it wouldn't translate down the screen. But no, it totally landed by the time I got to Eurovision. Everyone got it, loved it, whatever. So I am a little worried about how they'll be able to get that next level to really resonate, get that little message through as well. But if they can somehow do it, there's nothing stopping it doing very well in the televote.
That's right. And I think, as you mentioned, the staging, that's going to be, the real interesting thing with this performance as to how they are going to stage it and whether they can replicate the storyline that's going on in the video, or whether they're ever going to try and do that or go for something totally different. You'd also expect that commentary teams would, be wording the viewers up a little bit as to what this was about. But I think in general, there's a lot more people going into Eurovision now knowing a little bit about the favourites rather than going in blind. There doesn't seem to be so many people, particularly in the semi-finals. So I think we saw that they can sing it really well when they sang at the Madrid pre-party over the weekend. So they can sing. So even if they came out with minimal staging, I think it would go through. But it'll be interesting to see how whatever staging they go with elevates this for the grand final.
Totally agree. As for the jury appeal of the song, the Aussievision team has given it a score of 6.25 out of 10, which places Who the Hell is Edgar as 22nd out of 37 when you look at all the entries. Emma, does that surprise you at all?
I'm a little surprised. I think it is definitely more of a televote song, but there is still a lot for juries to like about this. Obviously, it is a bit of a statement on the state of the music industry and how it treats its artists. And obviously, a lot of juries are comprised of music industry professionals. So there may be that sort of understanding that they have. The lyrics might resonate with them a little bit, which might bump it up in their scores a little bit. Also, the girls have shown that they can actually sing this live. So, and there is, it's one of those songs that they do have the opportunity to show off their vocal range, particularly in the high operatic parts of the song. So, you'd think that they'd be scoring well if they hit on the night, they'd be scoring well for their vocals. The lyrics are certainly not basic at all. It's quite a complex song lyrically. So I think that's another area where they're going to score well. So I'm a little surprised by it. I think the juries will score this higher than we may be thinking.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think the team has gone a bit way too conservative on this one. Yes, it's definitely much more geared to work towards a televote. But when you look at other entries, like I've already mentioned, Nicole Presano, it's obviously a very different song, but something with a bit of a complexity that there's a question mark whether the televote will be able to absorb it. This is a song that is much more easily digestible out of the 2-for-1. And then when you look at other entries that are similar in a way where there's a strong message, it's got a pop element, but it also needs quite impactful staging, something like Manizia with Russian Woman in 2021. That came 8th in the televote as well. These are all sort of songs that, there's a question mark, will it translate? And juries also, will it translate? And they did get it. And it's not just a fun little song with a message. It's a fun song with some depth. And I think any jury member worth their salt hopefully would be able to recognize that this isn't just a basic pop song. There is quite a lot to get your teeth into here. I would agree, though, it's not a jury winner by any stretch of the imagination, but I would say our team's been a little bit harsh on it. So assuming it's in the grand final, fingers crossed, where do you think it might go with the juries?
Well, I think we have to remember that because we have no jury in the semi-finals this year, some of the more jury-friendly songs in the semis may not actually make it to the grand final, which means there'll be more jury points, I guess, to go around for some songs that are like this one. I'm sort of guessing, yeah, look, I like to think it would be getting points. It's not going to be a jury winner for sure, but I would be surprised if it wasn't down the lower end of the scale for most juries, particularly if they hit the vocal and obviously nail the staging. Obviously, juries are looking at different things from what the public are looking at, but yeah, I would be surprised if this wasn't sort of getting 1 or 2 points from the majority of the juries if they hit.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking maybe lower left-hand side. I don't really see it being in the bottom 10 of the juries. I would see it being a little bit above that. And then with a good televote, that lands you in the top 10. So I would say
of
that
course,
it's probably going to do a little bit better than maybe what our team has indicated. But yes, it definitely has a little bit of convincing
I agree.
to do to get them on board. Excellent.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Emma. So looking at overall televote plus jury in the grand final, where do you think it might place? What's the best case scenario, worst case scenario?
I think well, worst case we'll start with. I think it's definitely a top 10. So worst case, I would see it finishing maybe about 7th, something like that. I can't see it finishing any lower than that. Assuming that everything goes to plan on the night, obviously. Best case, I don't think it will win. But I see it probably coming about third or fourth. So I'm going to say third for would be best case scenario for this one, I
All
think. But
right.
I wouldn't rule it out altogether. I wouldn't, if I'd say I wouldn't be um I think it's definitely up there with potential winners. Um, but yeah, I'm sort of not picturing that this is going to win, but it's definitely it's not without a shot.
Yeah, like feeling very positive about it. I might play a bit of devil's advocate
Yeah.
here because we've seen these entries come and go over the years where the staging is just like, what the F? And it just ruins the whole thing. So I am a little concerned
Mm.
because Austria doesn't have the best track record with staging. If they have done well in recent years, it's usually due to the might of the artist and the song rather than the staging itself. So I'm going to say worst case scenario, sort of mid right hand side. I actually could see it even being that low. But best case scenario, I'm going to
Mhm.
say around about fifth place.
Okay. So either way, we both see we're both thinking top five, hopefully.
Yes, I think it has the potential to be up there, but fingers crossed for them. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Mm.
Emma, and thank you for watching. Check out the Aussievision YouTube channel for more of these great videos, and see you later.
Bye.